Binge Town, how we feeling today? It's your boy Dave with fellow weebs Alki and Kyle, and we are here continuing our coverage of Demon Slayer's Hashira Training Arc, discussing episode 5. I even ate a demon. Alki saw this coming in our last podcast recording, calling the shot on Genya's appearance this episode. The first half of the episode moved very quickly, I will say, but the second half was very flashy, as Tengen would say. So personally, I love getting a better look into the dynamic of, I'm not even going to pronounce their last name, the two brothers, the Wind Hashira and Genya. Their dynamic was really cool to see up front, and just how fucked up that relationship is as of right now. And of course, I'm never going to complain about a well-animated fight scene, of course. So we want to get our reactions and thoughts out there on the episodes as soon as we can going forward. So we're going to try and make these weekly episode recordings instead of 2 episode recordings going forward, so you guys can have that to look forward to if you want to hear more of our glorious voices. Well, you're getting just that, so be ready for that. Well, with the introductions out of the way, Kyle and Alki, do you have any quick thoughts that you want to give on the episode 5 as first reactions?
First of all, I really liked it. Animation continues to just blow me away, but I do have a question. Does it feel goofier than it has been in the past? I'm not complaining about that, but I feel like we're getting so many gag faces and jokey moments and like classic anime, like over the top reactions to things. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm just purely curious if I'm just misremembering how it's always been like that, or they're laying it on a little bit more this season.
My initial thoughts on that, Kyle, is that I think season 1 may have been more lighthearted than the seasons, the Mugen Train, the Entertainment District, and the Swordsmith Village District arcs. But with that being said, this one definitely is more lighthearted than the middle seasons, that's for sure. And I can't really remember everything about season 1. I think it's just trying to lighten things up a little bit before shit hits the fan. We're getting to meet the Hashiras. I was at first a little upset that they ran through some of them, but actually made me a little optimistic after the first half of the episode, because I'm thinking maybe that things are going to turn up episodes 6, 7, and 8. And we don't need to dwell on Hashiras that we already know. The Love Hashira, for example, like we already know a lot about her. They did fly through the Mist Hashira. I would have loved to experience the Serpent Hashira a little more, but I was so pleasantly surprised and happy that he is like madly in love with the other one too, and he was so jealous. I just didn't see that coming, and I thought it was great.
Kanroji, the Love Hashira.
Yeah, because she's obsessed with him, and we thought that he's just standoffish to her. At least that was my impression. But as soon as Tanjiro walks in, he was a little jealous little boy because she kept talking about him. I thought that was so funny.
I agree with you, Alki.
That he's 21 and Tanjiro's 15, so it's just funny to think about that age difference of him being mad at someone that much younger than him.
The Love Hashira is like 18, 19, right?
That I have no idea.
She's a young adult, I'm pretty sure. I don't think she's a
sure
teenager.
She was trying to get, like, they were marrying her off in her, like, when she was like 14 or something like that, I'm sure. But I agree with Alki. I think I wouldn't say that the gags feel like they're extra. It feels about right for where we're at, but I would agree with Alki in the sense that I think it's just more of the calm before the storm. Yeah. And we're getting a perspective of only really the good guys. And of course the good guys are going to have this lighthearted aspect to them. Whereas in the past, like when I think of the Entertainment District and I think of Mugen Train, like those were very dark arcs and not a lot of time for comedy. So, but I do feel that. I feel that. And
I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I definitely enjoy it. It makes me laugh. Every episode makes me laugh 100%.
And I agree with Alki that I like that we're kind of flying through in the sense that, yes, we already met the Love Hashira and the Mist Hashira, so we didn't really need to dwell into those trainings too much, but I would have definitely liked to see maybe a longer full episode of the Serpent Hashira. But I'm sure he's going to make, obviously, his like more screen time as the season goes on, of course. So we'll see more of him, I'm sure. But to get right into the episode, we can just fly through this first part of the episode with Tanjiro just passing the flexibility training, which you know me, Kyle. Alki, I
So
would be there
funny.
for years. I don't think I would ever have passed that training. My flexibility is next to nothing, so I would have been struggling there. That's all I could have. That's all I was thinking of while watching the episode is how much I could not do this.
It made me crave pancakes. I'll tell you that.
They
Pancakes
looked
look
really
good.
good.
Seriously, and I thought it was funny how he's like, I don't even know what these are. This shit is, and
When you also think about how much that butter she actually put on them, it's kind of like disgusting, but at the same time, it's like delicious. But it was like
That's what makes
a
pancakes
half
good.
stack of like stick of butter. It was ridiculous.
I also love words that make their way into languages, like pancake is in Japanese just like pancake. It's just like that's just really funny to me. So I love that. And the flexibility training was so funny, man. They're just
Tanjiro in the ballet uniform was great.
because everyone else is embarrassed and he's like, yeah, like let's go, let's train. And then he sees her split that dude's legs open and his reaction is so funny to it.
My first thought was Tanjiro is flexible. I didn't see him having any issues with performing a split. I feel like that should be easy for him. And we get that because he just immediately passes and is on to the next training, which is the sword training with, I'm not even going to pronounce this guy's name again, but the Serpent Hashira, which the ultimate goal of the training is that you have to eventually land a hit on the Hashira. But the twist of it all is that you have to maneuver your blade while fighting him between fellow students, which was totally fucked up. When he opens that door, I was like getting like a Kame ga Kill vibes from episode 1 when all those like humans are hanging from the ceiling and whatnot. But it was dark, man. It was dark.
I just like the way that Tanjiro, almost unwillingly, but just naturally because he's talented and his personality just becomes a leader of every training group that he like. Those guys have been there. Tanjiro's there for a day and they're all like already looking up to him just because he's just a straight grinder and it's just will nonstop keep training and wants to get better and all that type of stuff. And he knows that they're counting on him. So I eat that up every episode and I'm glad it shined so bright twice, I would say, in this episode.
Yeah, when he was like, I'm training so I stay out of your guys' way, or whatever, however he worded it, how I'm doing this for you guys, that was just like, that's my boy, man.
Yeah.
That's our
And classic Demon Slayer style too, with the way that they visualize the fights and how the combatants, let's say, are visualizing the fights is when Tanjiro gets to the point where he is no longer seeing his, I guess, what compatriots. It's just they're in the forest and they're fighting. It was just awesome, and he's keeping up with them and all that type of stuff. So that was really cool.
Now, is his sword really bending, or is that just a figurative visualization of his superior sword
I think that's
skills?
what it is, because I always am asking myself that question, but I think this episode kind of clarified that for me with Tanjiro's inner monologue during the fight saying his blade just moves like that of a serpent. I just think it's just an analogy for how his blade strikes are.
His sword is like squiggly.
I mean,
it is. The Love Hashira's is like whip.
Hers is actually squiggly, yes, but his, I think we've seen is a sword.
I think it's kind of squiggly in the sense that maybe like you're expecting it to come one direction and it kind of actually hits you from another somewhat closer like direction, so it feels like it's just like moving through the air.
I imagine like
way.
When you used to do the number 2 Fort Ticonderoga pencils in school and you used to like jiggle them up and down.
Yeah, that's actually a very good analogy.
That's kind of what I'm thinking of.
That's a very good analogy.
Don't hate
that. No,
his
sword is actually like, we saw it still, and it's like
a katana. Tanjiro says, even though he wields the same blade as me, even though it's flat and whatever, it still moves like a serpent.
I could have sworn when we saw him when they were all together, it was squiggly, kind of like the bad guy in Mulan. Remember how his sword is shaped?
Yeah, I know what sword style you're looking at, but no, talking about, but no.
Fine.
I feel like it's
I believe you. I take your word for it.
But yeah, I love when they get teleported, quote unquote, to the forest and Tanjiro is making his way through and he finally gets to slash off on the Hashira, and the Hashira is so salty about it.
Yeah, he is. Well, I guess it was 3 days, right?
Yeah, it looked like it was
3 days. Okay.
I think it was definitely a few days. I don't remember the exact amount, but the fact that the Serpent Hashira wanted a round 2, but he couldn't allow that to happen because Tanjiro had to go into the next part of training. And
that's just got to be a function of they only have so much time, because you would think that would be like, okay, you've completed stage 1 of your training. That wouldn't be like you completed the training and that you cut my clothing. You would think we would progress after that, but yeah, they're
Or at
pretty
least
time limited.
recognize the potential in Tanjiro and make it a little bit more challenging for him. Maybe, some actual damage in there, but
They should fight 1-on-1.
Tanjiro was getting fucking bruised up, dude. The representation of his
his knuckles
his
too
eye,
were all
yeah,
swollen.
those swole. I was like, holy shit! It was kind of funny looking, but man, it's serious.
With him completing the sword training, he makes his way over to the Wind Hashira for what I believe again is the 1,000 slash training or something along those lines. Yeah. And this was just a hilarious reunion between the two, because the Wind Hashira is certainly trying to establish his dominance over Tanjiro and let him know that Tanjiro is not going to receive any favorable treatment here. He's not even on his radar, but Tanjiro hits him with the you're not even on my radar either, bro, because you stabbed my sister. So just immediate tension right off the vibe for the Wind Hashira, but Tanjiro, and then proceeds to make that sly little smirking face as he walks away from him.
I was thinking Tanjiro was going to have one of those like diarrhea of the mouth moments and be like, what the hell did I just say? But when he didn't regret his words, I was like, yeah, you're right, Tanjiro. Yeah. Screw them. And then he proved to be a complete total piece of crap right after that with his brother. That was I was like so sad. We never seen any of the good guys act like that yet in the show.
Yeah, that was definitely surprising.
Yeah, Tanjiro basically, after a harsh day of training, catches Genya trying to apologize to the Wind Hashira, his brother, for essentially the history that we know of between them, that he ended up having to kill the mother because of what happened and whatnot. But this was heartbreaking, and especially because Genya was finally being vulnerable for once in his life, and we got to see that. And even in his voice, you could hear it, just the softness in his voice, because in the past, you feel like when he's screaming, it's very harsh and he's got that raspiness to it. But here, he's really showing his vulnerability, and his brother just immediately shoots it down. And I feel so bad for him. I was definitely Tanjiro thinking, like, you got this, Genya, like, come on, keep pushing it, but was not favorable for him.
And right for the eyeballs. That feels like a crazy technique.
That's so vicious. That's so aggressive.
Yeah, he wasn't going to kill him, but he was willing to blind his brother. That's just insane.
Well, I guess that is the way to get him out of the fight and make it so that he pretty much can't recover. But that's just, especially in that split second, that's just like a wild decision just roll with. But Tanjiro, baby, quick.
I think it's pretty crazy that Genya can't do any breathing techniques. I feel like I know, and also his fighting style is like that gun and the dagger. You know, I know he has the demon powers or whatever. We don't really know how that works. We've just seen it in action. Feels like not enough, you know, compared to what.
So I read a YouTube comment that was saying that they had explained it last season, but not very well, and that it's better in the manga. But it's basically that he has the ability to temporarily turn into a demon and gain passive regeneration by consuming demons.
Right.
So he has special digestive organs and jaw strength that allow for the transformation. And in the world, it's a rare ability that you had to be born with. So it's pretty much like a genetic mutation that he has obtained.
Oh, okay. See, I assumed he acquired that power somehow through eating a demon or some kind of swallowing some blood. Like that is interesting. They did not explain that well at all.
No, I mean, maybe that's jumping the gun, but I think I feel better knowing that than like if they're going to tell us in X amount of episodes. I don't think I mind potentially spoiling myself, but the person seemed fairly confident that the show tried to explain it to us and kind of failed. So
does that mean that the brother has that too? You might be able to assume so, right?
I don't know. I mean, they look a little bit alike, but it seems like it was like one like singular him as Genya. Is the one that
I would put my chips on that it would be only Genya, but at the same time, the brother did freak out specifically when he said, I ate a demon. Me thinking maybe he also has this power, but
he suppresses
he suppresses it. He would never, because
stoop down to that level.
Exactly. And that's so definitely pin it, but I personally think it's probably just specifically Genya, just to make him a little unique and give him a strong purpose in this world.
For the watchers, and listeners here, what exactly happened in their backstory again?
The mom gets transformed into a demon. The Wind Hashira has to kill her, and Genya basically calls him out and says, "You're a monster for killing our mom." Yada yada. But that was kind of heat of the moment talk. He's thought on it and realizes that he protected him.
But also,
like,
the
do you
older
think this-
brother was always kind of harsh to him too, right?
No, I don't think so. I think they were actually
close,
close,
and that
yeah,
hardened
up
him.
until that moment.
That moment
and so
hardened
that's
him.
why I was about to ask you: do you think the older brother is his sick way of trying to protect Genya? Just
Yeah, definitely.
okay.
To
I
like
don't think
keep
it's
him
just him
completely,
being-
to keep him out of the fight against the demons. You think that would be
Yeah.
interesting? I would prefer that because, like you said, we haven't really seen, or like Alki said, we haven't really seen the guys that are quote unquote on our side act like this towards someone else. I mean, it's literally against the rules to kill another member of the core, and he wants to flout the rules by permanently blinding him. Feels off.
It's like, you won't. It's like the Fuji tour. It's like, he won't be able to see the darkness of this world if I blind him.
I think it's like he's not allowing himself to get close to his brother because he doesn't want to suffer loss again.
That might be
And
also the
also,
other.
That's fair.
on the other hand, too,
Mhm.
he was protecting his younger brother in some sick, twisted way by trying to keep him out of the fight, like you said.
I would prefer that, and it does seem to align with what we know about his personality. It doesn't seem like he is, let's say, emotionally developed to have let's maybe complex, complicated feelings, vulnerability, things like that. So
Yeah, I mean,
so far,
we'll see. He's definitely freaking a beast, but
Oh, yeah.
Tanjiro stood toe to toe. That was like
Tanjiro
that
was
was
right on the
awesome.
cusp of Hashira level.
He
He's
definitely
right there.
is right there, bro. He's the strongest non-Hashira that we've been exposed to.
I thought-
Maybe no, yeah, he's the strong. I don't know. Maybe the
Yeah, probably.
insect Hashira's like underling. She seems to be pretty capable, but
Mm.
we haven't really seen her.
If they were to clash right now, I would, maybe it's just because we've seen how much Tanjiro has grown. I would give it to Tanjiro, but I
Mhm.
think like at the start of last season was probably her. Over
She seems to
Tanjiro.
have a lot of experience.
Mhm. I mean, she was a weapon, and wasn't she
Tanjiro
not
does
as like
too.
a kid? I know she just had a messed up backstory. She wasn't like a murderer as a kid, right? She just was
No.
like abused, kind of.
I think so.
But
I know that against the popular opinion, but I think Zenitsu is so fucking funny.
when he wakes up and is just so mad at Tanjiro, it's so funny. I forget what he says, but it's talking about like it's worse than like you killing my parents or something like that. Like it's like the level of betrayal. It's just so funny, man.
Tanjiro was like, you're screaming at me like you're out for revenge. That's how mad you are. And also when Tanjiro was like, Zenitsu, get Genya and go out of here. And Zenitsu's like, why are you bringing me into the fight? And Tanjiro's like winking and like smiling. He's like, don't wink at, why are you acting like this? You're not being discreet. It's like, so
that's a terrible signal. It's a terrible signal. So funny. And then Zenitsu gets on it and Genya punches him in the face because he said something bad about the Wind Hashira.
See, that made me, that I think further emphasizes there's got to be some kind of brotherly love underneath it all. It's just very underdeveloped.
I'm still calling my shot
so
on.
Shitty.
I still think the older brother is going to make a sacrifice for Genya.
For Genya.
I'm still on team. Like I could see him sacrificing his life to save Genya. So I think he could be one of the Hashiras.
He should do that.
He should.
Because
he should do that.
I'd rather see him go than fucking Mist Hashira. That guy cannot die.
I don't want Tengen to die either.
Or Tengen. Tengen could die though.
Morichiro's gone.
But the fight between them was awesome. I definitely thought Morichiro's gone.
No way,
I mean, I already planted that flag, so I'm in on it.
Yeah, I loved, just the fight between them was really good, especially how I really thought the Wind Hashira had caught Tanjiro there for a second with that uppercut, but of course Tanjiro double catches it.
Great reveal.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the kick, great.
I was at first I was surprised that his kick even did anything to him. You know what I mean? But it makes sense.
Well,
the guy
they kind of showed you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're good. You're good.
He's gone through like 3-4 Hashira trainings now too. That's I think notable.
He's gotten the better of each one of them in some way.
Yeah.
They did show you a little bit the difference though here, where Tanjiro's kick does some damage, but then the Wind Hashira's kick that he returns with, Tanjiro dodged it, but it cuts his ear. So you can see the difference maybe in the power, the speed on that.
Yeah, if the guy gets a hold of Tanjiro, if he gets one solid hit and he's putting him through a wall.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
Tanjiro just kind of makes him stumble or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. The aftermath
That's
is funny. Like, it's kind of serious, but also in Demon Slayer fashion, it's goofy because he talks about how he can't talk to the Wind Hashira, and then he has his crows yelling at him. It's just so funny. His
I
crows
think
calling him an idiot.
I think it's so fucked that Tanjiro is the one that gets suspended there, because if they hadn't gotten the full story, they should have known that. I think the older brother was 100% in the wrong there.
Yeah, he was in the fall. He was going to basically kill his brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think Tanjiro. The fact that he got suspended is crazy, but I guess it's more of so like, let's keep them separated, let them cool off a little bit. But
yeah,
he's only suspended from that specific training, right?
Yes, but all plot aside, I'm really glad I saw them clash. Like, that fight is awesome.
It was
You know,
round two,
and that was
man.
actually fueled by motivation. It wasn't like a training regiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
Tanjiro's hands
real.
weren't behind his back this time, because earlier, what was that, season 1 when he
That's
had
right.
buffed him? Yeah, his hands
Yeah.
were behind his back. So
He was still kind of handicapped. He was beat up a little bit too.
true.
It's also him, if the Wind Hashira actually blinded Tanjiro and like took him out of the fight, what a loss that would be for the Demon Slayer Corps. Tanjiro is the guy. He's the next gen. This is what they need. They need young guys like this. And if he were to do that, it would
The
have
Master knows
the Master
that
would have
too.
been pissed.
Oh yeah.
Master
He would have been so
pissed.
mad. Yeah, for sure.
All right. I
We're
think the
out.
last
This is
thing
gonna be
that
the last training, right?
yeah, I think so. So the last scene that we have here is Tanjiro and Zenitsu on their way for the final training, which is the Stone Hashira's training. And of course, we get our boy Inosuke under the waterfall. They're all
Told
talking
you
to
guys.
You
preaching
called that
Buddha.
one, bro.
Yeah.
I told you guys. Their personalities are so different, but they seem to have like the same idea about like what strength is. It's so funny. Like,
I'm ready for this, man. This is the one I've definitely one of the most interesting ones that I've been looking forward to for sure.
I die at the dude's stream of tears, just nonstop. I think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, and him sitting in the fire, and Zenitsu is never going to be capable of sitting in fire.
Cut out for this.
no,
he is not cut out for this.
Zenitsu, I could see dying. Did we say that in the beginning of the season?
I think we did.
No.
Now
I
said it was. I said it was going to be Inosuke and Moichiro.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we talked about that, but nonetheless, I could see Zenitsu having one final brave moment, like to save Nezuko or something, and taking something through the chest.
I think him and Nezuko are going the distance, baby.
No, get the.
He's going to mature at some point. He's going to be the badass that I know that he's capable of being, and Nezuko's going to see it in him, and they're going to get married. And I'll be fine with that. He's like 16, right? I don't know.
We need a blooper reel of Zenitsu going through the different Hashira trainings. We need him in the love stretching training. We need Inosuke.
Oh no, that was probably no. Him at the love Hashira's training, he probably breezed through that, because we've seen him. We've seen him before when he was doing the insect Hashira training or whatever with the flexibility, and the girls were stretching him out, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I love this." I'm sure he was loving it. Yeah.
It's so funny. I am fucking gassed up though for the Stone Hashira training.
Oh yeah,
that'll get us to episode 6, and then we'll have 2 episodes after that. That feels like 2 episodes of.
I have not
Number
gotten
4 versus Hashira.
I haven't gotten enough Inosuke in this season, and I need more. So that's for sure happening. And the Upper Moon has been very quiet. I feel like hasn't made a move in maybe 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, that's how you know they're gonna freaking.
Things are just
gonna happen. Yeah, there's no way they're just gonna go a whole season with nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the point you guys made at the start of this was we went through 3 Hashira trainings in 1 episode, mostly because, or rather, it seems because we're creating room in the back end of this season for conflict and real battle. So I'm excited for that, because Demon Slayer literally never disappoints when it comes to that.
No,
they've never let me down.
Goated.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts, predictions as I wrap this up?
I'm I'm just really excited to see that. I'm excited to get into the thick of it, man. Like, holy crap. This has been years of watching the show. When you watch a show season by season like this, no manga, and if it's this good, the way Demon Slayer is, it's so worth it. I think it's so worth it. And I'm really just I'm so proud of how Tanjiro has grown. He's a freaking cartoon, but I love the kid.
It's great because, I mean, it's almost like the Game of Thrones effect, where if I'm out and I'm like repping an anime shirt, like Demon Slayer will usually be brought up at some point, and it's like, oh, are you watching week to week? And it's like, hell yeah, I'm watching week to week. And it's like, those are the conversations you live for. Seeing the other person get it just as hype, like with you at the same moments, it's an unbelievable feeling, and week to week is just amazing.
I have one point. I just rewatched the clip. When they're in the woods, they're actually going to the Wind Hashira's house. That's what they said. And then they stumble across the Stone Hashira's training.
Oh, yeah, that is interesting.
So I guess he was going to reconcile with him, because Zenitsu was like, geez, how far is the
Wind?
Wind?
Missed that, because when they were talking about going to the house, you're right. That thought of, okay, Tanjiro must be going to apologize or something.
That's why I remember brushing it over. And since we're talking about it, I wanted to make sure that I didn't misread the subtitles, but they did say they were going to the Wind Hashira's house. So he's like, where is it? And Tanjiro's like, I think it's just right up here. And then here's the training and the humming of the Buddhist shit. Anyway, that's fine. They had to find a way to get the Stone Hashira in there. I'm sure they'll reconcile, whatever.
Yeah, my final thought would be, I'm faltering on my belief that the Stone Hashira has some type of gravity power. It just seems like he has such impressive aura that's why he stopped everyone in their tracks. They were just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mindset.
Also, the Wind Hashira exemplified some Conqueror's hockey too on his own when he was facing off with Genya and Tanjiro. Yeah. They did finally mention the mark again, which I'm excited to come back into play. We definitely need to see some of these people manifest it. I mean, if we don't see it by the end of the season, I don't think I'm going to be a little disappointed.
And I'm also thinking, we just said that the Stone Hashira training will be the last, but Giyu said he was going to join. So is there not Water Hashira training? So that'll be, I mean, if we get Giyu and Tanjiro training, that would be sick.
Maybe Giyu will be like the mark manifestation Zen shit.
Could be.
Yeah.
But he could end up getting a mark and then being the trainer of that.
Right.
Interesting.
How about this question? Put it on the board. Will Tanjiro become the Flame Hashira by the end of the season?
That's a good question.
I don't think he has flame breathing. I think he has like sun breathing or something like that.
That was going to be my response too. Was I think if he's going to be a breather, I would say sun, but maybe multifaceted.
I think he's got all of them.
He's the Avatar Hashira.
Yeah,
he could be, man. I mean, water, fire, and lightning already down, so
that's fair. The lightning.
I want to know what's going on with Nezuko and the old master and the demon doctor. I need to know what's going on there.
Oh, is he gonna, dude? Old Water Hashira might die protecting Nezuko. I think.
Right, because he's like there right
I think
now.
the Upper Moon makes a move on Nezuko.
Oh right, dude, you might be right, dude.
No, that would be sad.
She has the reconnaissance like power with the eyes.
Yeah.
So she might know where she's at, or she'll find him. She'll find her. Excuse me.
All right. Lots to look forward to.
You just what a
death is going to be around the corner. We know that's happening.
Yeah, I agree.
I do have one final comment. Happy birthday to our fellow weeb Kyle here.
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
Thank you.
You should every time he says we're weebs, Kyle, I see you scoff a little bit. You just gotta embrace it, man. Accept who you are.
It's just funny because I'm waiting for the week where he doesn't say it, but he says it every week.
Well,
if you guys knew what Kyle did for this podcast, you guys should absolutely wish him a happy birthday in the comments. I know only about 60 people listen to this, but give Kyle your best wishes because he deserves it and everything.
Okay. So, and as I look up, the definition of a weeaboo is a loser Japanophile. A non-Japanese person, stereotypically an unsociable white male who is overly infatuated with Japanese culture.
That sounds about right for you guys. So I'm not a weeb. I'm not a weeb because I'm half Asian.
Well, it
So I'm
says
half
typically.
weeb.
Typically.
I don't identify
Stereotypically,
as a
even.
typical.
You're not Japanese.
I'm Korean.
That's true. That's true. All right, play us out, Dave.
All right, that's going to be it for today's episode coverage of Demon Slayer. If you like what you heard, give Bingetown TV a follow on all of our socials on X, Insta, YouTube, the works. We have a busy month coming up ahead of us. We have The Bear, we have House of the Dragon, we have The Boys, which we're going to be dipping into tonight. So I'm very excited about that. Can't wait. So lots to look forward to. Definitely give us a follow. You're going to want to stick around for all of that. Be sure to join our Discord as well and chat with us about anything that you're watching currently and anything that you're watching with us. Lastly, for all of our podcast catalog, just check out bingetowntv.com. It's nice and organized over there for you. And if I didn't say it enough, once again, we are Bingetown TV, and thanks for listening.